what was your early experiences in film that drove you to become or like involved in filmmaking?
You know, it hasn't been until like retrospect when I look back that film was
Right.
kind of always there. But like growing up, I played hockey. That was like my first thing. I was like, I'm gonna be in the NHL. I was like this, that. And then I kind of got into music in like high school, and that really took over me. And I became a huge like playing in bands, like just
Right.
obsessed with that world. And that was my whole thing then for a while. Like, oh, I'm gonna be in a touring band, this, that. And if not that, I'll be a producer. And then I want to say I was probably like 19 or 20 years old when I started just watching a lot of movies solely just to like understand like pop culture references, like in TV or like with friends, like jokes. Like at the time, I probably had never seen like The Godfather or Taxi Driver or Pulp Fiction or whatever. And I was like, I should just watch these movies. And I started watching a ton one summer. And then I remember coming across the movie Blue Velvet that changed my life. And at that point, that's when I was like, I need to do like, what the hell was this? I was like, this is unbelievable. Making little shorts and like with my cousins when I was like 5, we made like 8 sequels to one like
Oh,
little
wow.
movie
That's
we made.
amazing. Yeah.
It was like, now I look back, I was like, oh, it was always there. I was always into it, but consciously not until I was like 20 years old. I was like, maybe I could do this for like a career, maybe, you know,
Yeah,
but up
for
until then,
sure.
no.
And yeah, and that's what leads to, like for me, the big thing I have to mention is Pulp Fiction. That's why I created 94 Productions, and that's why I kind of gave it the name. I was born in 94.
Oh, nice. You know?
And Pulp Fiction was the one, like my Blue Velvet, where
Yeah.
it was like that changed my life, like in the sense of how I saw films, I should say. It took me a while. It wasn't like an instant um, classic for me, or just I fell in love with it. But I started to understand like the genius behind it and why people enjoyed it. And I started to see that there's another side to filmmaking. And that's what introduced me to my hero, Quentin Tarantino. And then that's when the game really changed, because before that time, as a child, as a teenager, you're watching like Spielberg movies. You're watching very like, Forrest Gump, Back to the Future, nothing too crazy, still great pieces of storytelling. And then you just watch these
Yeah.
Tarantino movies and they go completely left field. And you just see how much he challenges the art form, and it challenges the viewer to think of the possibilities. And since that day, I fell in love with it. And that's why I decided, I guess, to create my production company, 94, to commemorate that year and also the year I was born.